And there's a volleyball. It's a very beautiful garden. Got violets too. It's a great old tree. All right. I think that's a yucca, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's nice. Yuccas and violets together. Cool.
The 4th Climate Justice Youth Summit is August 6th and 7th, starting at 1 p.m. at the Urban Academy High School for Green Careers, 145 West 84th Street in New York City. It's an excellent way for youth to learn about environmental issues and get connected on how to do something about them. For more information, go to www.uprose.org. That's uprose.org. I want to thank Paul Feiner for bringing this to my attention. There was an earthquake slightly north of the Indian Point nuclear power plant on July 5th. A small one, to be sure, 2.5. But small ones are often precursors to larger ones, and the Indian Point nuclear power plant, which is 24 miles north of New York City on the Hudson River, is built near 2 earthquake faults. The Greenberg Daily Voice, a local newspaper, reported the quake. The Earth Institute of Columbia University had an article as early as August 2008 about studies showing the increased likelihood of earthquakes in the New York City and lower Hudson Valley areas, citing a paper from the Bulletin of the Seismological Association of America, a journal for scientists who study earthquakes. The paper compiled all the earthquakes known that occurred within 70 miles of New York City, all 383 of them. Earthquakes large enough to cause substantial damage occur about every 100 years, with the last 3 biggest ones being 1884, 1783, and 1737. We are overdue. That 1884 quake was just offshore of New York City. There have been quite a few damaging earthquakes besides those 3, judging from the map provided in the journal article. They describe the Ramapo seismic zone, which runs near Indian Point as, quote, not so much a single fracture as a braid of smaller ones, where quakes emanate from a set of still ill-defined faults, unquote. It's the most seismically active area in that 70-mile radius. Most seismological studies are conducted where 2 tectonic plates intersect, such as the San Andreas Fault in California, or along what seismologists call the Ring of Fire on the Pacific Ocean. The study of intraplate faults is relatively new, getting interest after the large earthquake in the Adirondacks of northern New York State in 2002 and the Adirondack earthquake swarm of 1971. But a lot more research needs to be done. Leonardo Sieber, a co-author of the report, said, quote, we need to step back from the simple old model where you worry about one large obvious fault like they do in California. The problem here comes from many subtle faults. We now see there is an earthquake activity on them, unquote. Let's hope nothing happens to damage the Indian Point nuclear plant before it's shut down. We know from the earthquake in Virginia from late August 2011 that intraplate quakes travel a great distance. Marilyn Elliott of the Indian Point Safe Energy Coalition reported after the Virginia quake that according to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, Indian Point is designed to withstand a 5.8 earthquake within a 50-mile radius of the plant. Strange wording. An earthquake 50 miles away is never as bad as one right nearby, and the Ramapo seismic zone is really nearby. So what is Indian Point really designed to withstand? The scientists end their paper with this, and I quote, Indian Point is situated at the intersection of the 2 most striking linear features marking their seismicity and also in the midst of a large population that is at risk in case of an accident. This is clearly one of the least favorable sites in our study area from an earthquake hazard and risk perspective.
Here we are in another beautiful New York City park, Carl Schurz Park, and the mayor has a house over there, but I think he's on vacation. It's July. A lot of people are on vacation in New York. This is Mercy Van Vlack for Environment TV Weekly News in New York City. Save the bees, save the bees, save the birds and the bees. That's my new song. This just happened, July 9th, according to a news story on Channel 5 in Boston. St. Joseph's School in Wakefield, Massachusetts. They found hundreds of bees dead and dying around the school. Finger pointing is directed at mosquito control spraying nearby. Very, very bad for bees. And from Marriott Sheldon of the Bee In Coalition, that's BEE-IN Coalition, beginning on National Honeybee Day, August 16th, there will be a coalition effort and catalyst for immediate action to protect the bees and other pollinators. The Bee-In will be thorough, proactive grassroots networking and social mechanisms. Create a buzz. This is part of their statement. We are calling on the CEOs of Bayer, Syngenta, Monsanto, Home Depot, Lowe's, and all other companies with products or plants containing neonicotinoids, pesticides, very bee-unfriendly pesticides. We call to stop the sale and use of these and pull them from the market for an immediate 5-year moratorium. We are calling for common sense to connect the dots and expose the system that contributes to colony collapse disorder, which is the whole hive is gone. All the hundreds and thousands of bees in the hives will be gone. We support biodiversity-based ecological farming practices, endorsing alternatives to bee-harmful pesticides. Your creative input is needed. Please participate for the good of the hives. Go to Join the Swarm for information on international events for August 16th. See Facebook, Bee Against Monsanto, BEE Against Monsanto. Investigate and publicize the corporate system that profits from chemicals gone wild. The honeybee crisis is directly related to the crisis of corporate power. This is Mercy Van Vlack for the Environment TV Weekly News from New York City, the Bee Report. Thank you. And be careful out there.
This comes from the San Francisco Chronicle of July 9th by way of the Center for Biological Diversity, who saw the memo where someone in the Obama administration seems to be interfering with the science at the Fish and Wildlife Service. FWS was about to list the wolverine as endangered in the lower 48 states because there are so few left and climate change is shrinking their mountain habitat. But an unnamed top federal official told FWS not to list them. This happened twice before during the Bush administration. For more information, check the websites at the end of this report. To take action, go to the Center for Biological Diversity website, biologicaldiversity.org. A press release from the United Nations pointed me to this June 18th article with no byline, which I'll quote from. An estimated 628 million people in Asia and the Pacific lack access to electricity, and more than 1.8 billion use natural fuels. The United Nations office in the region launched the UN Decade of Sustainable Energy for All, unquote. This is similar to an initiative in the Caribbean years ago to put solar panels in rural areas that had no electricity. That would allow people to do things like have a home business and kids to do homework. But that program ended when people started stealing the solar panels right off of their homes. When I asked someone at the UN, why didn't they simply make the panels harder to steal, I was told there wasn't much support for that program and too many people were looking for an excuse to end it. I hope they have a better result in Asia and the Pacific. This is Ken Gale for Environment TV Weekly News. When the air or water is clean, thank an environmentalist. If not, become one. Enough said.
I don't see any bee right now. There was a bee here earlier. There was one here a minute ago. Yeah, there's sort of a rainbow over there.
There's a
See a honeybee?
A native bee.
Oh, a native bee, a little one?
Yeah.
North American bees instead of those European bees, which they call the white man's fly.